Hi, thank you for coming back to watch another video in the series. So the last video, we went over the different phases of incident response. So we went over the initial phases, what happens during and the post incident IR incident. That as far as reports and the action plans or playbooks needed in order to eradicate or remediate and do all the things necessary to recover from a cyber breach. In this video, we're going to go over host-related incident compromise indicators. So usually whenever a host is compromised, right, it may start feeling a couple strange symptoms like a cold, right? You may start sneezing more than usual. Your eyes get a bit puffy or whatever symptoms that you may have personally to you that you know isn't normal, right? As far as you being a bit hotter than normal, a bit colder than normal, things that are not indicative of you being at a normal status as far as what your day to day normally looks like and how you feel, right? And the same thing works for the foundational computers, right? So it may be unforeseen system issues, right? Even though there's no application launch, there may be continuous spikes in like memory, CPU, and network utilization. You could equivocate that to running a fever, something of that nature. That's how you truly know something is wrong, even though you haven't done anything fundamentally different, right? Now, in most cases, a lot of security professionals they don't pay attention to non-critical systems um, things on the network, right? So if this is a critical system or server, it's likely to catch the attention of a security professional. So we're going to take a look at a few things, particularly first processor consumption, right? So when malware usually runs on the system, right, it typically starts consuming the processor. So when the system is idle, right, like here when application is running, usually the processor should not be running at its peak. And if it does, you can assume that maybe there's something wrong, and it could be like one of the background processes, right, which could be malware. You want to do your proper investigation if there's no false positives or anything, which could consume the processor time. So one method to usually verify processor performance is by using the task manager and verify the processor utilization, right? So, which is available on the performance tab that we're on right now. And this exhibits just normal processor utilization as it is fluctuated usually between a normal computer, maybe not necessarily a computer of a lab, right? Like this one, but fluctuates usually between 30 to 40%, which is quite normal. But also note there are like about 142 processes that are running. So it depends on the number of applications and services running, right? Now the system is running, it's already in like an ink state or like busy, like the task manager, it takes time to open up, right? So when a process utilization is high, which you can see right here is obviously again pretty low, it being a lab that we're running here. You can assume something in the background is consuming it, even though we may not be running any applications. So notice that in the same systems window, right, that the number of processes changes, right? So you see here, so the number of processes changes, right? So it's 137. Again, this being a lab and maybe a bit more consistent, right, with low utilization. But this usually could indicate some unknown processes that are just consuming the processing time, right? So maybe may not be true in all cases, but it would be worth checking out. Now, also with memory consumption in particular, right? So usually high memory consumption, it can be another indicator of a compromised host, unfortunately. Now, some malware just simply loads themselves into memory and then uses it to also execute the task that it does looking to complete. Now, each service and application, it may run you like, it may run and consumes memory from the Windows system, right? So, however, if there are unusual spikes in memory, you might want to investigate it a bit further. Then, okay, given the days of it, that it exhibits, that it displays rather than normal consumption of memory, right? So as far as like a malicious process, right? So any process usually in Windows that's designed to, so I'll just click through here, see, look at who's using it. But usually when it's designed to access the CPU, usually because like when you start an application or like a process in the background, it runs with certain system resources, right? When you open up a task manager in Windows, the processes tab usually consists of a list of running processes. So let me So here, so we can see how much memory is being used, CPU is being used by each service or application if you have one open, right? So in many cases, the processes related to the running malware will usually will show up in task manager, right? So you can actually terminate the process related to the malware. So it's important to note that even though the process has been terminated, right, technically, the malware may still be present in the system, and that the process could also be designed to start with the system startup. And therefore, when you start the system, then the process is going to start once again. So therefore, probably also check the startup tab as well in Task Manager and locate, any unknown program that's also running. If it is running, you just simply remove the program right from the startup tab, and you also delete the program directory and the related registry keys. But that's at least for any host-related incident compromise indicators. Now, for for running any, let's say, unauthorized software, right? You want to prevent that. In a lot of cases, malware could disguise itself in the form of legitimate software. Sometimes it stays on the system. So the user may not realize it is malware. So the anti-malware application fails to catch sometimes that malware as well. So to prevent the presence of such applications on their system, you can actually allow or block applications that can run, right? So, for example, you could prevent any kind of batch files from running on your system. So, what we're going to do is actually create a sample batch file. So, software restricted policies are policy well known, right, for like policy-driven mechanisms that provide administrators the ability to identify and control applications. So, let's actually go ahead and open File Explorer, take a look, and then let's take a look at the View tab. Then see. Perfect. Take a look at the view here. Then hide extensions. There we go. Right here. Work today. Perfect. Right here. And then actually, yeah, that's fine. I don't know why it does that. So just create a test app folder, right? We're going to test out a few things with again, the sample batch file. So just going to open this up and then create a new text document so we can run a test here. Then we're going to change the really not going to be a text file. We're going to have to change the extension. Is it? Yes, of course we do. Right. So now we just want to edit this and echo. This is a test that. Wow. All right. Let's say. All right. Perfect. Now we can just close this out. All right. So now we're going to create a local software restriction policy. So we're just going to, now that we've created this batch file, we're just going to block it from running on the Windows system that we have. So let's see. So we can just here policy edit. Not just wrong. All right. So just going to let's see Windows. It's not clicking. There we go. All right, perfect. So now we're at new software There it is. All right, perfect. So focus on security levels. All right, that folder. So the default setting is, as we can see here, is unrestricted, which means that all the applications on the computer can be launched. So just going to get into, let's see, the additional rules here. We're going to create a new path rule. All right, so let's create it for, let's see, test that. All right, and just allow, that's fine. All right, perfect. All right, so now, yep, it has been created, so we're good there. So I'm actually going to minimize this, not maximize. All right, so now we're at a file explorer. Let's actually head up. Then let's see, open this up. Then there it is. All right, perfect. So it now has the dialog box. Your system administrator has blocked this program from a for more information, contact your system administrator. This behavior is as expected as a software restriction policy to block the batch file based on this path. So that's perfectly fine. So now I'm just going to test the software restriction policy by copying the batch to another location. So I'm going to copy as path. I can just copy, right? So now just going to go to the root, the local disk. I'm just going to paste it here. Just simple copy and paste, nothing crazy. Did it paste? Okay. Not sure how it, well, I could see how, but not sure why. Okay, let me close this out. There it is. Perfect. All right, so let's open it from here. Perfect. So as we can see that the batch file runs because the software restriction policy is based on a file path, right? So if I did copy as same path, right, then it may have blocked it. It would have blocked it because of the path that it was taking, right? So, but since I placed it in another location, then it did not block it because it's a completely different path than what the rule restriction from, right? So I'm going to minimize this really quick. So let me open this back up. It's going to open. All right, perfect. All right, so let's just delete this, right? Just delete it. And now I'm just gonna right click here, new hash rule, then browse, right? And then let's see, I think it should be in here. Yep. All right. Okay, it's going haywire. There we go. Perfect. So it's open, it's allowed, so we're good. Hit apply. Boom. So we're good there. So now the new hash rule has been added. I'm actually just going to close this out. Then let's restore the file explorer. It wants to come up, I guess. All right, so we'll go this. All right, and what's going on here? This is weird. All right, so now we're just going to hit open. All right, perfect. So now, after a change in the software restriction policy in the hash rule, so now the file here, the app1.bat or the batch file is blocked regardless of the location. So we're just going to hit OK here, and navigate to here, and now it's within the folder. What's going on? malware. This is weird. All right. So let's hit open. And of course, I get blocked here because I've created the hash rule. And that's not defined by the path, it's defined by what the file is that I've told it to block or restrict from, right? So that comes to the end of our video for host-related incident compromise indicators. We've done a few things. We took a look at some host-related incident compromise indicators through Task Manager and the use of the CPU, the memory, and indicators uh, that could indicate a potential malicious activity on your computer or in your software, on your potentially on your network, but particularly in this case, um, um, with the scope on your particular device, right? And we also went over preventing unauthorized software from running as well with the software restriction policy. And then in the next video, we're going to get into network application, a network and application related incident compromise indicators, and I'll see you in that video as well.